What is going on, legends? Ryan Magic here, and in this video I'm going to share 10 tools and strategies that I use to crush fear, and I'm telling you, these actually work. Now, if you're new to this channel, make sure you click the subscribe button. But I'm pumped to get into this, and before we get in, I want to share that sneakily, 6 and 8 are my personal favorites. I think they're all important. I use all of them at different times, but 6 and 8 I particularly like. Secret weapons. So the first thing to understand is you're awesome because you're here trying to overcome fear. Most people don't understand that literally every single thing that creates results is action, and the only thing that stops action is fear. So this is a pretty solid topic to try to be crushing. So well done. That's awesome. Let's get into it. The first one, Mel Robbins. Check out her TED Talk. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. She is a behavioral researcher who came up with this strategy. I actually did this for years without realizing it, but I counted up. This is some weird background where I was seeing the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 everywhere. So I was like, I'm going to use 1, 2, 3, 4 every time I'm going to do something I'm afraid to do. So I'd literally go, when I want to do something, I'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, and I'd just lean in. I remember I was getting into the nostalgia of the fact that I used to be a skater when I was a kid. And so I literally went straight to a skate store, bought a Batman skateboard, and went straight to the skate park, and I went to the top of the half pipe. And I haven't skated in 10 years, more than, I think it was 15 years. And I literally went straight to the top, and I was like, 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. And I just dropped in from the top, which usually would have taken me ages to do. This works. But now I count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I do the thing. So it's worth training it with smaller fear tasks. I have cold showers every day. Whenever before I get in the cold shower, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. Now the key with this is you can never not do it, or it instantly loses its potency. If you're counting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, when it hits 1, you gotta go. If you just sometimes you do it, sometimes you don't, the whole thing just loses all of its value. So make sure you actually commit to using this. I use it all the time, and it works, and I've built up so much respect and triggers in my nervous system that when I hit 0, boom, I go. The second one is massive as well, and I've used this doing some pretty intense stuff, the Will Smith strategy. So Will Smith talks about the idea that if there's no point experiencing fear before the time when you actually engage in the activity that creates it. So let's say, for example, you're going skydiving in 3 weeks. You could easily be super nervous about going skydiving, but there's no physical danger while you're laying in bed 3 weeks earlier on a Sunday night. It's not relevant. It becomes relevant when you're in the plane about to jump out. So reminding yourself before you go into anything, when you're feeling that fear, hey, it's not relevant yet. So just be present in the moment. And then when you get there, give yourself permission to be scared because it's normal. And that brings me to my third point, which is to understand it. And I put a little love heart here. So fear is inbuilt within us to keep us alive. The problem is that we used to be tribal creatures. So our nervous system has wired us to say, if you get rejected by people in the tribe, there's a chance you're going to be ousted, put into the wild, and you're going to die, right? So our nervous system thinks rejection, social judgment, anything that involves other people not liking me, I'm going to die. And so that's normal. It's outdated. It's in our biology, but it's outdated. And so the love heart represents the fact that if you can even be grateful for it, it's taking you to the next level. You're like, I understand this function. I understand why it's here. It's not relevant in this day and age now with our modernization of society and the human race, but I understand it. Thank you. Move on. And I find that really helps. So I'm not, why am I feeling so scared? Why aren't I confident? I get nervous with every single thing that I do, pretty much. Whenever I'm taking action, I'm always nervous, but I know that I'm meant to be nervous. I'm not judging it, because when you judge it, you spiral down and you go into shame, and that's just the lowest vibration. It's going to mess you up. So that's the third one. The fourth one is buddy up. Now, I find it significantly easier to do something when there's other people doing it. If I'm going to run a race and there's 10,000 people entering a fun run, it's the easiest thing in the world. If I'm by myself going for a run with no one else around, it's harder. If I'm in the gym pumping out and I'll get out another 3 reps with a friend there who's spotting me. If I'm by myself, I won't. If I'm going and doing something that's scary, like recording some videos, but my friend's doing it as well, and he's doing it and I'm doing it, we're doing it together, it makes it way easier. So buddy up and have someone. So the best thing that you can do is you go, okay, there's something I want to do. Who can I ask to come and do it with me or support me while I do it? And you'll be surprised. Let's say, for example, you want to go and approach some girls, right? And you say to a friend, hey, can you please come out with me and encourage me to go and talk to some girls? Everyone's going to be keen as a bean to do that, right? People like to support, and it's fun when you ask for support. They've got more buy-in. It's fun for them to be a part of it. So ask someone the moment you want to do something straight away, enlist them, enroll them into it, and they're going to be pumped to be a part of it. And it makes it so much easier. It's not so, and you know what? On this same token, the speaking it element makes a big difference. As soon as you've said something that you want to do, usually it's where we know what we want to do for a while and it just ruminates up in our mind. The moment we get it out of our mind and speak it out loud to somebody else, it instantly becomes way quicker. It happens way quicker. I've noticed this massively. It happened when I got out of my last relationship, when I ended my last relationship. I was thinking about it for a long time. And the day that I said it to a friend, which just came up in conversation, that day the relationship ended. But I was afraid to say it. I was afraid to have the confidence to get it out there. So when you say it to somebody else, it just makes it so much easier to do. Fifth, put your shoes on, right? You don't want to graze your feet. No, I'm joking. You want to put your shoes on. There's this book by a guy called BJ Fogg. There was a behavioral psychologist that is, I'm pretty sure he works at Harvard, and he taught the people that started Instagram how to get people addicted to the app. So he knows how to get people to do things. And the whole book that he wrote is called Tiny Habits. It's about doing micro actions to create momentum. So this one is about, like, if you go into the gym, the hardest part is putting your shoes on. It's kind of like what I was saying at the last point. The hardest part is saying it. Once you've said it, it's a lot more real. Hey, I'm going to the gym. Even if you didn't feel like going, if you say to someone, hey, I'm going to the gym, you're going to go. So just how can you micro break down the task? Let's say, for example, you're afraid to start a business. What's one thing that you can do? Maybe you just brainstorm business ideas and it kickstarts the momentum. Then once you've brainstormed the business ideas, what's the next tiny step? Micro chunking it down. 6 is my favorite thing on here. It's called motivate to domino. Motivate to domino. So a domino action is when you commit to something that allows you to get results for a long period of time. You see, willpower and motivation is temporary. You feel really pumped up about starting a business. Awesome. If you then feel pumped up and you launch a marketing campaign, cool. That's one piece of action and it's gone. The willpower goes very quickly. It's finite, the amount of resource that you have there with willpower. So what I always talk about is what's an action that you can take that doesn't just pass on by? What's an action or a decision you can make or an action you can take that locks you in for a long period of time? So for example, right now, you got James behind the camera. James for me was a domino action. I knew that I wanted to grow YouTube channel. I knew I wanted to start getting myself out there more, and I was like, man, I'm struggling with this. I'm nervous about the whole damn thing. If I hire a videographer who's on a long-term basis, I don't even have to think about it anymore. Every week we're going to be doing stuff. It takes that need of willpower out. And so I've written here, so you got to think about that. The dominoes, that's one example of a domino. Another example was I joined when I wanted to get my health together. I joined a boot camp. My friend said, can you pay for the boot camp just in cash each week? And I said, no, I want to give you money for 6 months up front. That way I don't have to think about the next 6 months. If I'm paying like 50 to 100 bucks a week for boot camp and I've already paid for 6 months, I'm going to show up every day, every week for the next 6 months. All the energy, the effort is gone. I've already made that hard work with that decision. So I've written here, motivate to domino. So what that means is if you want to get something done, watch a bit of David Goggins. Go out there and just type in motivation into YouTube. Watch some motivational videos that get yourself really pumped up. But then when you're motivated, do a domino action. Pie yourself in. Say to your friend, hey, I'm going to give you 10 grand if I don't get this done in the next 6 weeks. right? Send a formal email contract to them. Get it done. Motivate to domino. I use this all the damn time. It's like so important for me. 7 is get to versus have to. You see, this is all about understanding that what you're trying to do, that you're afraid to do, is something that is a privilege to get to do. We're in the Western world here. Most of you guys watching this are most likely from the Western world. We're very, very lucky. And when you're in your heart and you're grateful, it's very hard to be anxious or in fear at the same time, because it's a different part of the brain. It activates a different part of the brain. So when you're connecting into like, holy crap, I can't believe I get to do this. Like, wow, I'm so lucky. That energy is very, very different to the fear energy. When we're in that gratitude, it's more love getting poured out. But when we're in the fear, it's more self-preservation. Because again, our nervous system is trying to stop us from dying. That's what's going on when we're experiencing that fear. So connect to your heart, gratitude, you get to do the tasks that you're afraid to do. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it, okay? And this sinks in with number 8. Alignment spot check. The most important thing is that you're not just doing fear tasks you don't care about. You will not get yourself to take big action on things that you're not actually really pumped about. Choose to pursue things that light your heart and soul on fire in this world. Go after your dreams. It's then worth going out there and taking some big, scary action when it's aligned. I call it aligned discomfort. Aligned discomfort. The more aligned your fear tasks are, the more likely you are to do it, the more meaningful it is to you. So spot check. Is this something I even want to do? Maybe you don't even want to do it. Discard it. Just then put in the same, because every time you do something that's scary, it seriously, it takes a lot out of your nervous system. It's difficult. And so if you could substitute the scary action you're about to do for something different that's more aligned, you're better off doing it for the thing that's more aligned. So that's really important. And I mentioned 6, the domino actions, and that, to me, are the most important things here. These two are, number 10's the thing that got me to take action originally when I first leapt into doing my dream business, which therefore led to me making $1 million in 10 months. So this was big for me. I'm going to explain 10. Let's go to 9 first. And I also did 9 at the same time. Hire a relevant mentor. So let's say you're afraid to grow your business. If you hire a business mentor, this is what I did, over a 12-month period, you got 12 months of then being dedicated to working on that area of your life. The mentor is going to be checking in with you. It's so much easier than you just being like, okay, I'm scared to do this. Oh, and then you think about it for months on end or weeks on end. I knew that if I didn't put myself in a tough situation, meaning financially, because I stretched myself to invest in the mentor, and I didn't have someone watching me, it'd take me 3+ years to even start my business. I knew that because I was moving into coaching and speaking. But as soon as I hired the mentor, had the financial commitment down, and I had the social accountability of seeing this person, boom. I ran 12 seminars in 10 weeks and got my first 50 clients through the door. I'm telling you, there is no way in hell that I would have done that if I hadn't hired that mentor. Really important point. And 10, perspective. Perspective is twofold. One is how ridiculously massive this universe is. What I recommend that you do, in fact, I'm going to put it in the description. Click the link in the description. There's these videos you can watch that keep zooming out with how big the universe is. So it starts on Earth and then it zooms out and zooms out and zooms out, and it just shows you how massive the universe is. I figured out the math sums that if you took a book, a textbook that's got all the planets listed out on this textbook, and you literally take that textbook and you shrink the size of our solar system all the way down into the size of one textbook. So you're shrinking the whole universe down. Then the size of the universe is literally, in a different measurement, is textbook next to textbook next to textbook, all the way from Earth to one side of the solar system, all the way to the other side of the solar system and back. How ridiculous is that? I'm not saying so from here to the one side of the solar system and back, that's tiny. But you shrink the solar system into one textbook, and then you stack textbooks literally from here up into the sky, all the way to the edge of the solar system and back twice. And that is the actual size of the universe. Then you zoom it up. It is so massive. It is so ridiculously big. And for me, that just makes me go, what the hell is going on here? How do we have life here? And it just makes my trivial fears and seem so insignificant, which might sound like a negative. I'm going to hit the second point for this, which is more potent for me, which is that the Earth's been here for 4.5 billion years. 4.5 billion years, which means that if you take the average adult lifespan of 80 years and you push that back, so 80 years, so it's 2021 now when I'm recording this video. We go back 80 years, 80 years, 80 years, 56 million times, and we get to the start of the Earth. So for me, if we go like 10 lifespans in the future, 800 years, I think about if I achieve every single thing that I'm doing, that I set out to do in this world, my mission is to become my flavor of the next Tony Robbins. So I achieve that. I'm the most famous thought leader in the whole world. Cool. Who do you know from 800 years ago? Most people would know Jesus, Moses, a few biblical figures. Not many people. If we then make it 100 lifespans back, who do you know from 8,000 years ago? No one, right? So what's going to happen is we go 10 lifespans, 800 years in the future. It doesn't matter what you achieve today, you're probably not going to be remembered. You go, it sounds negative, but there's an absolute gem in this. You go 100 lifespans into the future, that's 8,000 years. It doesn't matter what you accomplish. Barack Obama, Steve Jobs, Tony Robbins, Matthew McConaughey, all the people that we know right now aren't going to be remembered in 100 lifespans in the future. And what that does for me is makes me realize that if I literally right now get naked, run into the city, helicopter my penis like this for 2 hours on National 9 News and then cut my head off, it's the most ridiculous thing that my mind can even possibly fucking conceive. It doesn't even matter. Like, I'm not saying go and do that, but it's just, you can't do anything that's going to be remembered in the long term. So you may as well go out there and instead of caring about your friend's sister's daughter's pet poodle and what that poodle thinks of you, just go out there. It doesn't matter. For me, that's massively helpful because then I go, why the hell am I caring about trying to follow my dream and whether a video gets traction or not? Who gives a shit? It's going to be fun. Even if I go out there and I kill it and smash every goal times 10 more than I think, I'm going to be remembered anyway. So I may as well play this video game style life like a fucking video game. That helps me massively. And that's what got me to start my business because I was like, what is this even? I was 21. I wanted to be helping life coaches and mentoring them at 21. It doesn't make sense. And I went, who gives a shit? There's like way crazier things that happen. I just went and did it and then made $1 million in 10 months and that didn't even matter. Who gives a shit? So just go out there and do what you want to do. Now, what I want to know from you guys, by the way, if you found this valuable, click a like on the video to help push it out there, which I appreciate a lot. But what I'm curious to know from you is, out of these, which resonates the most with you? I know these are like, I use all of them, so I'm not saying just use one, but what's one that resonates with you now that you can do to help get over the fear that's been holding you back? What's one? Put it in the comments. Can't wait to see it. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Massive love, and don't forget to subscribe on the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.